moments, but there are ways that we can overcome those moments in a healthy way. So today we have Amy Goodwin here to kind of walk us through that. Ooh, we don't want that to fall. We want people to see your book. That was a good segue. It wanted me to introduce it.
Right.
She's a life coach and the author of The Mountains We Climb, a guide to overcoming life's obstacles. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
Yes, so we'll get to those much needed tips in a minute, but I do want to talk a little bit about you, your background, how you became a life coach.
So I think the journey to becoming a life coach was a really natural journey for me. I've had a human experience on this planet, right? And I've had a lot of struggle and trial and things to overcome. And that by doing that, that really led me to curiosity and powerful questions of how do we overcome these things? How did I overcome these things? How can I help others overcome these things? And through that very human experience and through trial and error, that led me to really getting educated to be a life coach. And now I run a wellness center where we treat Lyme disease, which is also one of the things that I overcame. That's part of my history. And it really all started from Lyme disease and really having to overcome that very challenging chronic illness. And the rest is history. Here we are.
Wow, a lot of inner work needing to be done to
Very much.
kind of
A lot of times every other avenue in life lets you down, and it really does come down to that inner power.
Absolutely. So stress, that's what we're talking about today. I mean, when we talk about everyday stress, I mean, it could just be a hiccup here, hiccup there, but how do we kind of wake up in a better mood, go through the day in a better mood?
Well, you know, I recently heard a very startling statistic that 70% of Americans are living in fight or flight. And that is a devastating statistic.
Yeah.
Flight or flight is for tiger chasing me, right? And I'm gonna die. I'm in really big trouble. So that tells us that the vast majority of people are dealing with some really big stress every day. And that is a huge part of what I do in my practice as well. And using basic tools of resilience really can help us keep that stress, that daily stress under wraps so we don't get to fall into that 70% pattern.
Absolutely. Wow, that stat is it's scary.
Huge. Yeah.
Okay, so there are levels to this, levels to stress. What about people who are dealing with, anxiety, grief? How do you help people with those stress disorders?
Yeah, great question. So there is so many levels of stress, and I think one of the biggest things I really preach is keeping yourself from getting to that level of stress. Challenges are going to come in life. We cannot control stress, right? We can't control political stress. We cannot control things that happen that are bad. Like, that is part of the human experience that I was talking about earlier. But what we can do is use tools to manage that daily stress, no matter what level it's at, to keep us from falling again into that 70% or getting to that place of just severe overwhelm. And very basic tools like just breathe, just take a breath. We're just gonna take a little pause and we're just gonna breathe. And that is something I teach very early with any client. And I've had many clients who are coming to me with out of control anxiety or out of control overwhelm. And I'm like, okay, let's just take a breath. And I'm going to really teach you how to breathe in a breathing regimen. And we're going to become really intentional about some things in our lives, like getting ourselves back on the schedule, making sure we're taking care of ourselves. We're eating healthy. We're going to the gym. We're making sure we're watching positive things on social media. We're making sure we're actually putting social media away for self-time. And it's really amazing the transformation that can occur in people's life by just adding a few basic tools for resilience.
Absolutely, those are great tools. Focusing on yourself, making sure that you're putting you first, and just being okay. I love that. Amy calmed me down just by being here. You'll want to book with her for sure, and look at her book, read her book, The Mountains We Climb, a guide to overcoming life's obstacles. We have more information at carolevin.com/noon. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.